Well, hello, yogis. Hello, friends. Tonight we are doing yoga together. Usually I'm doing morning yoga. So for some of you, this is going to be awesome. We get to do a night practice together, and I'm so excited. First off, I wanted to apologize for our last Yoga is Healing, which got cut off randomly at 22 minutes. No idea why. My phone's on Do Not Disturb. I don't know what kicked me off. It's just, hi back. It's just the nature of technology, and we just go with it, right? You just go with it. So if you're doing yoga with me and we get cut off today and something happens, you do you. You keep doing some yoga at home on your own. Maybe that's just your sign. Like, just accept what is and be like, that's my sign. I'm supposed to keep doing yoga on my own, or that's my sign. I'm going to go make dinner. Hi, Beck. So we're just going to be flexible, you guys. This is what we learn about, right? Being flexible. I don't know why that just represented It does. It does kind of. It kind of feels good, too. Maybe we should work that in. So any requests tonight before we get started? I got some good hair for you guys today. Actually, I do have a cute top knot bun, but I've exercised and gone on golf tournaments with my son, and so there just has not been time for that. And so we're just going to go. We're going. I love you guys. We're just going to go with what is today. So if you have any requests, and you can type really fast because I'm going to turn my camera around in a minute, I will take requests right now. It's going to be a fun practice. Nothing is necessary, but I always like to have things on standby because sometimes I get a wild, thank you, sometimes I get a wild hair and hip openers. Okay, so you typed fast enough. I get a wild hair and then I'm like, oh, grab a strap, and then you don't have it. So anyway, okay, hip openers, anything else? Becky, you get to rule all the things we do tonight because you're here and you're answering. So, any other requests before I go? Well, I don't really go. I'm going to stay with you, but I'm just going to flip around so then I can't see anything. And if we die, not die, but if we lose connection, I don't know what to say about that. I just don't. What I was trying to do is get my computer in here at the same time so I could maybe try to be watching it and make sure it stays connected that way, but then the feedback can be really bad, so we're just going to go with it. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. All right. Don't get me singing. All right. I even have hair sticking up back here, I think, somewhere, so for all the good side angles. I'm going to start on a block in a little bit of a virasana because I've just had a bit of an active day, but I want you to find any comfortable seat, So today, as we practice, I want to just articulate as we practice this idea of kind of making a shift. And I wish I could give credit to the person that posted what I'm going to share here. I have the person who I think wrote it, but not the person who shared it. So, what I want to talk about is just making this shift because I think, I don't know, all these things are still coming up for us every single day. We're not done with COVID and all the Black Lives Matter and all these different things, not to just mention all the things that are just going on in my personal lives. So you think about all these things, and sometimes we can get almost feeling very swallowed, and swallowed can feel like stuck. Swallowed can feel overwhelmed. Swallowed can feel heavy. Swallowed can feel depressed. It can feel anxious. It can take on all these different shapes, right? And something I came across is if you think about all those things, all of those are kind of what you'd consider more of a negative space or a negative state. And what it said was being negative only makes a difficult journey more difficult. You may be given a cactus, but you don't have to sit on it. And I love things with a little bit of flair, a little bit of personality, a little bit of humor. We can be given cactuses, you guys, but we don't have to sit on them. And so finding this way to shift, using yoga practices, using self-care practices, using things that just make you feel joyful, that make you feel happy. I talk a lot in my family and just with friends I'll tease. I'm like, don't fight the isness. And the isness are the things that we don't exactly have control over in a given moment. So if we hit a traffic light and you're late and you're mad about it, you can be mad, but you're fighting the isness. Like, that's something that just is. You can't fight that one. Now, COVID, you could say there's an isness to this, but there's also a realm of how we're just seeing it and how we're perceiving it and our perspective. And so learning how to make a shift so that we can just see from a different vantage point. So we can be given cactuses, but we get to choose whether or not we sit on them. So I love the hip opener requests. Let's do it. Sit up nice and tall. Close your eyes. I want you to take your shoulders up towards your ears. Take the head of the shoulder back, and then drop your shoulder blades down the back. Now draw your chin back, your throat back a little bit. And I want you to take 5 deep breaths, and if you want to let those out the mouth or just some deep ujjayi breaths, whatever feels better for you, I want you to take 5 deep breaths. And as you take these 5 deep breaths, just welcome yourself to this moment. Welcome yourself to your mat right now, whether you're practicing live or you're watching the recording. Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for taking time to make a shift within your own self. When you finish that 5th breath, go ahead, bring your hands, fold them together in front of your heart in Anjali Mudra. We set an intention, we take a moment, and we think about the trajectory of the way we want to be. Maybe it's in this moment, maybe it's in our day, maybe it's an intention for where we are wanting the direction of our life to go, something bigger. Maybe it's a quality, something you want to cultivate a little bit more of that would help you. Maybe you are on this path where it's a difficult road right now. You may feel like you don't just have one cactus, you have many. It feels hard to walk without feeling like you're getting poked. So, man, thank yourself for showing up today. And then let your chin gently fall towards your chest. Release your hands down onto your legs. Lift your chin. Open your eyes. Good. Interlace your fingers out in front of you. Now, this is a great example of the habits that we all have. So we all have a tendency of which finger will always go on top for us. Yep. And what I like to remind myself is, as unconscious as I always go the same way, and so do all of us, that's how our habits are, of the way we behave, the way we act. And so this practice, it brings you awareness to just pay attention. So now I'm trying to have a second favorite hand and not even know which one is my natural hand. So press your palms forward. Maybe you're going to jump on that bandwagon. And I want you to round your back, sit back into those sit bones. Now if you're sitting crisscross, you might want to switch the cross of your legs. And then you're going to inhale, come up and arch your back. Oh, good. Exhale, round your back. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. Inhale, lift. One more. Exhale, round. Shoulder blades move apart. Inhale, lift. Good. Exhale, release your arms down. You're going to take your right arm on top of your left. Lift your elbows up. Push your palms forward. And just get a nice upper back broadening here. Good. Inhale, open your arms, cactus them out. Exhale, left arm on top. Push your palms forward. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Exhale out through the mouth. Good. Cactus your arms one more time to breathe in. Exhale, interlace your hands behind your back. Now, if your hands are close towards the ground, push your knuckles down, lift your chest, inhale. And exhale, slowly come down. So we're going to come around to all fours, tabletop position. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Now, if you're just in Virasana like I was, you may want to just kind of shake out those shins just a little bit. Good, and we're going to tuck the toes. Take your hips towards your heels. Kira, can you shut the door, please? And lift your hips up and back. A little visitor, folks. Thank you. Don't fight the isness, right? Of little guests appearing in the background. Good, and then bend one knee and alternate one at a time. Good, so I love this just as a nice stretch for the hips. So if you angle your foot, if you're wanting more hip opener, if you angle your foot, the straight leg foot, like a warrior one, you're going to get a little more stretch into that outer hip. And when you bend the opposite knee, twist that knee towards the straight leg. So my left leg straight, bend your right knee, twist it towards the left. And then warrior one right foot, bend your left knee, twist it to the right. And get a nice, not just hip, but you might even feel it in the waistline. And then back to neutral. Inhale. Exhale, let the breath go. Good. Inhale forward, plank pose. Pause in your plank, take a deep breath in. Exhale, push back, downward facing dog, let it go. Plank pose, breathe in, heart forward, shoulders out of the ears. Exhale, hips up and back, down dog. 3 more, breathe in. Now you follow your pace, IQ breath, as many of you know, IQ breath a lot. But it's never to rush you or slow you down. It's just to remind you. So you take your pace. And if my breath is in rhythm with yours, great. Inhale, last time. Exhale. Now take an inhale in your dog. And exhale, walk your hands towards the back of your mat. So towards your feet. Inhale. Now even that, sometimes you can hear it, but then your body is so unconscious, it just walks forward because it's so used to doing it. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, reverse your swan dive. Reach the arms towards the sky. And exhale, hands to your heart. Good, yogis. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, walk the hands forward, out into plank. Take an inhale in your plank. Exhale, chaturanga to the belly. Good. Stretch your feet to the floor. Inhale, lift your chest, cobra pose. So now we don't always think of cobra as a hip opener, but sometimes if you're staying low, you won't feel it as much, and that's okay to stay low. But if you want to come a little higher, if it feels okay on your back, you'll get a nice stretch on the front of your hip flexors, okay? And then exhale, peel it back down. Now you're going to bend just your right leg. Inhale, lift up. Now we're getting a little bit more into the front of the hip because hips aren't just hips, it's quads and it's hamstrings. Release. Good. Inhale, left leg lifts. Toes towards the back of the head. Exhale, release both legs. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Tuck your toes. Remember, you always have options. You can push up. I'll do tabletop first one. Push the earth away. You can always do plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a breath in. Empty it out, mouth or nose. Right leg steps forward in between your hands. I took out the kick on purpose. Again, just kind of makes us pay attention how much we always have little habits, right? Myself included. If I start on the left side as opposed to the right, I'm so used to the right. Lift your chest. Inhale. Good. Take a steady breath here. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Now Left hand's going to plant. Back knee lifts. Inhale. I want you to step your right foot so it's about 6 inches behind your right hand and go to a modified side plank. So you get the hip opener here, okay? The closer you keep your right foot towards where your right hand was, the greater your stretch is going to be in this outer right hip. And then top arm's going to reach over your ear. Now imagine you could wrap this outer right hip back just a little bit more, squeeze your feet together, and then wrap the outer right hip back even a little more. Take another breath. Now the arms overhead, I want you to take it to the sky and step your right foot just behind you. Just behind you. It's like a very modified wild thing. We're not going to get too wild just yet. Plank pose. Inhale. Chaturanga. Exhale. Up dog or cobra. Now inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, peel it back. Down dog. Take an inhale. Exhale, left foot steps forward in between your hands. Back knee goes down, and we're going to take a breath or two here. Anjaneyasana, low lunge. Take a couple deep breaths here. Noticing where the body is holding its tightness. Maybe giving yourself permission to enjoy, if you're actually feeling some resistance, to practice working with that. Very good. Now tuck your back toes. Right wrist, it's going to go just slightly in front of that right shoulder. Lift back knee. Step your left foot just a little bit back or more like halfway back, depending on your flexibility in your hip. Top arm's going to reach over. Modified Vashisthasana. Flex your your back foot, right foot. And if you want a little more in the hip, you can lift the inner border of that left foot and you're going to feel a little more stretch. Keep squeezing the feet together. Wrap that top hip back. Lengthen your tailbone towards that back leg. Yes. Good. Now front foot's going to step behind you. The top arm's going to reach up. Inhale. Good. Exhale. Chaturanga. Up dog, cobra. Breathe in. Exhale. Peel back. Down dog. Take an inhale. Walk to the back of your mat towards your feet again. Inhale. Fold over the legs. Exhale. Now, one of the things that can get us out of our unconscious habits is just doing different things. Reverse your swan dive. Inhale. Exhale, hands to the heart. So something just simple like walk to the back of your mat a little more than always jumping forward can just kind of help shift us into the moment a little bit more. Inhale, reach arms up, breathe in. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, walk the hands forward, plank pose. Now, you're going to bring your right forearm down so that it's parallel with the short edge of your mat, the top of your mat, and then your left forearm is going to cross in front of that. So you're still in plank, but you're on the forearms different than when you do Pincha Mayurasana or forearm balance typically. I want you to separate your feet a little bit so they're hip distance apart. You can always have your knees down here if you need to. You're going to roll your hips to the right, push into that right forearm, and lift your left arm up. Inhale. Exhale, left forearm down. Heels to the left. Inhale. Exhale, forearm down. Now you're just going side to side. Inhale. You're just having a real good time. Now you might even switch which forearm is in front. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now if you're keeping the same one on top, each time don't you worry. Don't you worry yourself. We'll do it again, and then you can do this the other forearm, your second favorite forearm. Yes. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Drop the pelvis down. Now shift your forearms forward. Sphinx pose. Inhale. Lift your chest. Now you got to try to soften the belly a little bit. Really allow the breath to come fully in. Allow the breath to fully empty out. Again, inhale. Exhale. Last time, inhale, gazes forward. Now, exhale, look towards your belly, tuck your toes, lift your pelvis, and start to walk your feet up into dolphin. Walk your feet up. Now, if your hamstrings are tight, no worries. Bend the knees. Bend the knees. Your head is lifted off the ground. Maybe walk your feet in just a little bit more. Remember, knees can stay bent. For 3, 2. Now you can go to chaturanga or go to child's pose. So if you're going to do chaturanga, look way forward. Lift the elbows. Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog cobra. Exhale. Stay in child's pose if you're there. Otherwise, you're a down dog and you always can come down. Child's pose. Take 3 breaths. Breathe in. Let it go. Breathe in. Release. Let it go. One more. Release. Let it go. Right leg's going to reach up. Breathe in. Right foot steps forward and through. So we put that down dog kick now back in. Stay on the fingertips. Keep the back knee lifted. Inhale, lift your chest. Long pyramid pose. Exhale. Inhale. Rebend that knee and you're going to come up high lunge, crescent pose. Breathe in. Now for today, for a little more hip opening, you can bend that back leg. So for a lot of us, if we're tighter here, the pelvis will really tilt forward. So lift the low belly, let the tailbone drop down. That may require you to bend your back knee a little bit. And if you can keep that neutralness in the pelvis, then re-straighten that back leg. Push through the back heel. Squeeze your front foot, back foot together. Scissor your inner thighs and take one more breath. Breathe in. Breathe out. Good. Now you're coming to a warrior 3. Let's bring hands to heart. Inhale. Hinge forward. Push off your back leg. Left leg lifts. Good. Turn those toes pointing straight down towards the floor as best you can. And you have arm options. You can take them out. You can airplane them. You can reach them forward. You do you, boo. Take one more breath. That standing hip, it's getting a little fiery now. And we're dropping into chair pose. Left foot meets right foot. Inhale, reach. Exhale, airplane your arms. Inhale, lift. Exhale, airplane. One more. Inhale. Move any of that stuck energy. Exhale. Inhale. Forward fold. Exhale. Half high, lengthen. Left foot steps back. Exhale. Modified Vashisthasana. You can just turn that front foot a little bit. Reach the top arm over your head. Inhale. Take a full breath. Exhale. You can stay here, more hip, or wild thing for the front of the hip flexor. Step the foot behind, land the ball of the foot. Right arm reaches up and over. Now, easy does it. Really your first wild thing, so just take it easy. Good. Now, you're going to come back around. Your right forearm is going down. Your left forearm is going down. Now, is that the order it was last time? We're going to go to the left first. Roll to the left. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, back to center. Right forearm down. Inhale, left forearm up. Back to center. Inhale, right. Exhale, center. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Little tick-tocks. Exhale. To the right. Inhale. Exhale. Again. Inhale. Exhale. Last time to the on your right forearm. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Pelvis down. Sphinx pose. Inhale. Look forward. Exhale. Look to your belly. Tuck your toes. Walk your hips up. Dolphin pose. Now you can always play around here. You could lift a leg up if you like. Right leg could lift. Just starting to build the foundation. Then set that foot down. Left leg lifts. Build the foundation of your inversions. And I often think this component of it is harder than the actual poses themselves. And then set it down. Now remember, you can vinyasa or you can go to child's pose. So bend your knees a lot. You're going to lift your elbows. 3, 2, 1, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog cobra. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Good. Now when you come on for a practice, anytime you practice, if something's not feeling good, just do another variation, pick something else. You have permission. Sometimes just being together, right? Hearing the voice. Sometimes I'll pop a class on myself and I don't do anything they're doing, but I just like hearing their voice in the background. Left leg up, inhale. Makes me feel like I'm not alone. All right, good. Stay on the fingertips. Left foot's forward between the hands. Low lunge with the back knee up. Inhale, lift your chest. Let the hips drop down a little. Oh, yes. And then long pyramid. Exhale, fold. Straighten that front leg a little or a lot. Inhale, bend into your front knee. Now make sure your legs are far enough apart. Inhale, arms reach up, crescent pose. And again, you can bend this back leg, get the pelvis a little bit more neutral. And if you can keep that, straighten the leg, and if not, it's okay. Back leg stays bent today. Good, sink down a little more. Tone right where the hamstring and the glute meet as you bring your hands to your heart. Belly, pull it back towards your spine. Take an inhale. Shift forward. Warrior 3. Exhale, back leg lifts up. Take your arms any variation you like. Right frontal hip point rolls towards the floor. Right inner thigh, lifts up. For 3. Warming that standing hip for 2. Chair pose, 1. Right foot meets left. Inhale, reach. Exhale, airplane. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Forward fold. Exhale. Good. Half high. Inhale. Lengthen your spine. Exhale. Right foot steps back. Lunge. Right hand down. Modified Vashisthasana. Left arm reaches up over your head. Hug that bottom shoulder blade in towards the spine. Enjoy that outer hip opener action. And stay here if it's feeling good. Otherwise, your left foot steps behind. Wild thing. Inhale. Lift. And coming back around. All right. I know you're missing those forearm TikToks, aren't you? Hold your plank. Inhale. Exhale. Is it like sitting on a cactus? I don't know. Inhale. Exhale. Sometimes I think it's the steadiness. It's this holding a plank. I don't know about the rest of you. It often feels harder to me than when I'm moving. Exhale. Last breath. Inhale. All the way to the belly. Let it go. Woo! Forehead to the floor. Nice work, everybody. Hands back next to your rib cage. Cobra pose, starting with right leg bent. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Left leg lifts. Inhale. Exhale, lower. Try to keep the shoulders out of the ears as best you can. Inhale, both legs up. Lean back. And lower. Tuck your toes. You're going to push the earth away. Remember, you can move through plank. You can move through tabletop. Either one. Push the earth away. Inhale. And down dog. Exhale. Breath in. Breath out. Breath in. Breath out. Let your body begin to melt, kind of falling into the architecture of the shape of the asana. Lift your heels, breathe in. And now, if you want to jump or step, top of the mat, forward fold. Your good old friend meeting at the top of the mat. Inhale, half high. Exhale, fold and bow. Reverse your swan dive. Inhale, rise. Come all the way up. Hands to heart. Exhale. All right. Bring your big toes together. Your inner heels just a little bit apart. Bend your knees. Sink your hips. Chair pose. Make sure our reception's still going. All right, you're in chair pose. Good. Take a couple deep breaths here. We're doing good. All right, we're still on. That's great news. All right, weight's going to go into your right foot. Left heel lifts. Left ankle crosses above right knee. Hands are to the heart. Becky girl, this is for you. We're just getting started with these hips. I mean, you feeling all this juiciness? All right, some days I like the hands on the shins. Shin, singular. Some days I like to take it towards a block or the floor. Now, if your hands get to the floor, put the sole of your left foot against your right bicep and kind of hug the bicep against the ball of the foot and push the ball of the foot out just a little bit into the bicep. Can you bend your standing knee just a little bit more? And where can you surrender in this pose a little bit? Where can you stop gripping? Is it your shoulders? Is it your jaw? Is it your furrowed brow? Good. Last breath. Very good. Now transition out. Transition slow. Inhale. Left knee to chest. Pause. I want you to hold the back of your hamstring, interlacing your hands underneath the left leg. Flex your foot and inhale, kick your foot out. Now point your foot and exhale, draw it back in. Flex, inhale, point, exhale. One more time. Flex, inhale, point, exhale. Now you're going to tip, let go of the leg, tip your left knee towards the floor, reach your right arm up, left arm out like a table. You're serving a tray, reaching the thumb back, palm to the sky, catch the inner foot. Dancer pose, Natarajasana. You're going to kick the foot back, start to take your heart forward. Good. 2 more breaths. Keep kicking back. Keep kicking back. Rotate the outer left hip toward the floor. Inhale, slowly start to come all the way back up. Exhale, left foot releases. Both hands are going to return back to your heart. So good. So good. All right, bend your knees. Sink your hips. Second side. Left leg, you're going to go onto that leg. Right heel lifts. Figure 4. Find your drishti, a spot to focus on. Start to create more depth in your breath. And as you create more depth in your breath, your body, you may find, starts to move a little deeper. If your hands are toward or to the floor, use your right foot, the ball of the foot against your left bicep. You can even brace the back of your right tricep against your right shin, and that'll help you send the groins. So as you kind of push, you can send the groins back and the heart forward a little bit more. Good, and then bring it back up. Nice and slow, hands to the heart. Inhale, knee to chest. Exhale, interlace other way. Hands underneath your right leg. Flex your foot. Inhale, kick the foot out. Point the foot and exhale, bring it back. Keep your focus steady. Inhale, flex and reach out. Point, draw back. One more time. Inhale, flex and extend. Point, exhale, bring back. Release your clasp. Point your right knee to the floor. Left arm to the sky. Right hand, palm is up. Thumb is towards the back of the room or back behind you. Inhale, lengthen up through the left hand. Draw your tailbone down and then start to kick the shin back. Left arm starts to reach forward. Chest starts to reach forward for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, bring it all back up. Exhale, right leg down, both hands back into the heart space. Inhale, release both arms by your sides. Good. Inhale, take the arms up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. You might notice you might start to get a little deeper now. Inhale, lengthen the spine. First kind of full vinyasa we've done. You can step or float. Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog, cobra. Exhale, yogis, take it back. Well, we need some warriors in here just to open up the hips in the other direction. All right, we've done a lot of the hip flexors. Let's get into the groin here a little bit. Right leg reaches up. Exhale, right foot steps forward in between the hands. Spin the sole of the back foot down. We're coming up, warrior 2. Inhale. Arms open. And you feel the humerus hugging in, and yet the forearms have the energy of reaching out a little deeper. Yeah, and sink down into those legs. Flip your front palm, reverse your warrior. Inhale. Side angle. You can take forearm to thigh. You can take your hand down on the inside or the outside of the foot. So if I like to get a little more in the groins, I like to have my hand on the inside. You might want to take a bind here. You could take a half bind, or if your shoulders feel warm, we've actually done quite a bit in the dolphins. If your shoulders feel warm and you want to take a full bind, you sure can. Continue to breathe. For 3, 2, and 1. Release your bind. Reverse your triangle. Straighten that front leg. I want you to scoot your back foot up just a little bit. Inhale, lean out of that hip. Trikonasana, reach forward. Right arm goes down, left arm goes up towards the sky. You can gaze up, forward, or down. If you want more side body, you've been tight on the side waist, just take the top arm over the head. Give yourself permission to actually bow those top ribs a little bit more if you're going to take that variation. Otherwise, you can just stay traditional triangle. Begin to keep turning the low belly up. Good. Cartwheel down. Lift that back heel. Remember the side plank. Now our focus today is putting a little more hips. So if you want to take a full side plank, you can. I'm enjoying these hip openers, so I'm going to keep going with the front foot in front. But totally up to you. Full side plank, stack the feet, totally good. I'm going to give an option here. Now, you can take a tree pose, picking this right foot up, put the sole of the foot onto the inner thigh or the calf, and you can kind of combine it with a wild thing. So lift, push into your left hand, lift your hips up so that the sole of that back foot starts to go towards the floor. You reach the top arm up and over for 3. See if you can get the whole sole of your left foot to the floor. 2. Keep pushing your left inner thigh into your right foot. 1. Good. Plank pose. Inhale. All the way to the belly. Cobra, bending your right leg. Inhale, lift your chest. Head toward toes. Exhale. Bending left leg. Inhale. Releasing. Exhale. Bending both legs. Inhale. Release. Exhale. Tuck the toes. Plank or tabletop. Exhale, down dog. Breath in. Good. Breath out. Let it go. Breath in. Let it go. Last one. Inhale. Let it go. Left leg rises. Breathe in. Left foot steps forward and through. Back heel seals down towards the floor. Inhale. Warrior 2. Exhale. Sink down. Now the front knee right over the ankle. Notice if your knee's moving into the left. Keep it moving left. I'm sorry, did I say that left twice? If it's going right, move it left. And sometimes what can happen is the hips kind of pop back here. So I want you to imagine you've got your hand, and you may even do that. Push right around that glute. Just draw slightly forward so that the hips are more neutral. Shoulders right over the hips. Reverse your warrior. Inhale, lean it back. Sink a little deeper into that front leg. Take another breath. Now this might be uncomfortable, but your thoughts can make you feel like you're sitting on the cactus, right? Don't sit on the cactus with your thoughts. Side angle, forearm down to the floor or forearm on the thigh. You know what I mean though? The thoughts add a whole nother layer. Maybe you bind, maybe you half bind. And what might just be a doable problem all of a sudden becomes like a really ginormous problem because our thoughts are contributing. And then those thoughts start to produce that chemical reaction in our body that we start to feel the way we think, and we think the way we feel. And so how do we stop the pattern? You take 6 deep breaths. Right there will move you from your reptilian brain back into starting to calm the nervous system. Reverse your triangle. I did not forget what we were doing. Okay, bring that back foot up. Reverse your triangle. Trikonasana. Reach forward. Left arm down, right arm up. Block, really helpful here if you need it. Right arm reaches to the sky. Push into your front big toe mound, the inner heel, and release the toes from gripping. Yeah. Inner right thigh is going back, and our outer left seat is curling under, carving under, so that the belly starts to turn and look up. Some of you maybe took the option to reach the arm overhead, and then you can let those ribs bow a little bit more. Cartwheel down, back heel lifts. Remember, you're taking the side plank variation. So you find your side plank. Yep, find your side plank. And then we're going to have the option to take it into a tree. Now what you're trying to do is, see how I'm on the outer edge of my back foot. So as the leg comes up into tree, you can leave the outer edge of the foot, but if you can start to lift, you've got to push into this bottom hand, push the hand down and forward so the hips start to go higher and higher so that the sole of my foot, when I'm not losing my balance, the sole of the foot starts to connect all the way down towards the floor. Lift this back inner thigh up. Really engage that inner leg for 3, for 2, and 1. Plank pose, friends. Inhale all the way to the belly. Left leg's going to bend first. Inhale, cobra with left leg bent. And release. And right leg bends. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. And you know where we're going, both legs. And release. Tuck your toes. Push the earth away. Inhale. Down dog. Breath in. Let it go. Good. Slowly come forward, kneeling position. We've been going for a pretty solid 40 minutes here in flow, so I really want to give us these last 15 minutes to give you some great hip openers, okay? So let's start with pigeon. Right knee forward. Now, if pigeon doesn't work for you, just lay on your back. You're going to take thread the eye of the needle. Right leg is on top of left. I'll show that in just a second. So pigeon pose. Push into the outer edge of your right foot. Lift your sternum up. Good, and just stay a breath or two. Okay, so if you're on the back reclined, here's what your shape looks like. Or if that pose just feels better, right? You're at home. You don't need to worry. This is for you. And then start to come down. And go down deeper. Maybe your block is there for you. Continue to allow that left frontal hip point to melt forward. So what's sitting on the cactus can kind of look like in our day is just when, you know, we can kind of feel ourselves in a negative space, and then we just kind of keep going there, right? And we can't quite dig out. So the 6 deep breaths will start to interrupt that pattern. And when you finish that 6th breath, there is a new moment there waiting for you, where you ask yourself, how else might I see this? How else might I see this? Whatever is going on. Now, if it's one of those moments that there is an isness to it, that you can't really fight the isness, like what is not good is just not good, and there isn't anything that can be done in that moment, all you can do is start to shift thinking, right? But that alone, you guys, it has so much power. Start to slowly come up. Now, listen careful. We'll come into Janu Shirshasana. So we're going to keep that right leg bent. We're just going to turn to the long edge of the mat. Okay? Long edge of the mat. Left leg, your back leg is still the straight leg. All right, we're going to start kind of more in the side body opening, and then we'll go more toward the back body opening. Really nice groin stretch here. So for the inner part of the hip, left hand down, right arm reaches up and over. Now you can, some of you will be able to get the toes, not necessary, but it's there. And if you reach the toes, actually you're reaching for the outer edge of the foot, and the left hand is reaching for the inner edge. Palm up again, just like you did with dancers, if that's where you're going. I get plenty without going from my toes. So what happens if we go too deep sometimes is that it really constricts the breath, because your body kind of goes into panic mode. But you're trying to find those edges where you get to play with your depth, but not to the point that it gets you to a space where you feel like your body's panicking, your mind is panicking. Good, now let this top arm float up. Let's just take a twist. Left hand to your right knee, right hand behind you. I want you to kind of push the sole of your right foot against your inner thigh and keep the left toes moving up. So you almost get a little groin stretch. I'm almost kind of dragging the flesh of my inner thigh towards the floor a little bit as I turn the chest to the right. Very good. Now we're going to spin the other way. Ooh, spin the other way. Now both hands are going to frame your left leg. Start to bow forward. Now right hand is going to reach towards the outer left foot. Left hand, you could even cross at the wrist if you like and grab the inside of the foot. Try not to try so hard. Sometimes I feel like if we just ease up a little bit in the moment, release putting so much pressure on ourselves. Creativity and flow and love and clarity start to slowly make their way back in. Good, and then inhale, slowly come up. Now your left leg is going to cross over, seated spinal twist. Left hand behind you, inhale, right arm reaches up. Exhale, hook the elbow, or bring it to the outside. Spine is nice and tall. Breathing in. Turn the navel. If you want to bind here, you can take the back hand behind the back and see if it will find the thigh. You can also reach around for that full bind. Try not to overwork in your gaze. Try not to just crank your head back. Let your head stay in line with the rest of your spine. Push your arm against your leg and your leg against your arm. Good, and then slowly start to come out. All right, shall we switch that around? We got a little friend joining in the yoga. Hi, Lex. Okay, second side. Second side. I'm going to come around to down dog. Just kind of stretching out both those legs for a moment. And then drop down to the knees. Let's repeat all. Second side, left knee, left wrist. Tuck your back toes. Scooch that right leg back. Remember, thread the eye of the needle is an option. Stay upright for a breath or two. And begin to fold forward. One habit I find that I'm trying to pay more attention to is just how I can rush in my practice. And that takes different shapes some days, but some of it just is like going right in as deep as I can go right away. So kind of exploring what's at different points, right? Like what's in between what feels easy and what feels hard. Like what's the in-between in there? So letting myself kind of evolve into it a little deeper. Now it's pretty easy to pay attention to maybe your outer left hip here. But what if you felt like there was a heaviness on the front of the right frontal hip point? Or on your back right waistline? Like there was just a little sandbag on that back right waistline. It was gently drawing the front of the right pelvis closer towards the floor. Walk the hands back up. Inhale. Side saddle and swing that back leg around. Janu Shirshasana. Left leg is bent in. Left arm on the inside of your left leg. Did I say left again? Right. Left arm reaches up and over. I get yoga drunk by about this point, right? It's like the point where you forget to wear your shoes outside or your coat or something. We don't need coats right now, but now remember, there's options here. You can take this so as deep as you want it to go, and if it's too much, you can take the hand behind the head. If you're ever not sure, if there's a pose that's just not feeling right in your body, you guys, this is what I'm for. Reach out to me. I will help you. Bring it back up. Breathe in. Left hand now behind you. Right hand to left knee. Inhale. Keep the toes pointing up and start to push the left sole of your foot against your right inner thigh. Really nice to open up the groin there. Breathe into that left rib cage. Exhale, slow unwind. Now we're turning the whole torso towards your right straight leg. Hands frame the shin. Inhale and exhale. Walk it out. Now if you're tighter here, you could always put a strap around the foot. I like to bring my right forearm down. I kind of use it to help retract the right side of the belly back a little bit more. And as I exhale, left hand, reach it towards your outer right foot, and then start to sweep the left side of the belly more towards your right thigh. You can always cross the wrists if you liked that variation. Bring it up, breathe in. Ardha Matsyendrasana, right leg now crosses over left. Right hand is kind of already behind you. Reach your left arm up. And hook the elbow around or to the outside. The whole sole of your right foot is on the floor. You're working to keep your spine nice and tall. If as I twist deep, I round the back, not so good on your back, folks. You want to keep the spine. Every pose is Tadasana. It's mountain pose to be able to sit up strong. So it may be better in your body to just hook the elbow around. Totally okay. So if I'm binding, and again, I'm compressing so much, you're losing some of the, how should we say it? Well, obviously the integrity and the alignment, and just being able to really deepen into the pose. Let yourself go in phases. You don't have to rush this practice. Richard Friedman says there is no rush because there is no end. There is no end to this practice. Good, and then unwind. I want you to just take a crisscross position just for a moment. Let's just take those 6 deep breaths again before Shavasana. Let your hands just rest on your legs. Sit up nice and tall. Now when you're breathing, you can let the breath go out you can purse your lips. That can really help, or let it just go out the mouth. But when you purse the lips, it'll slow it down. If you're comfortable with Ujjayi breath, that's lovely to do too. That'll naturally already slow your breath down. But really notice your abdomen. How it expands out when you breathe in. How it contracts back. And you actually have to use your core muscles to let the breath go. Being negative only makes a difficult journey more difficult. You may be given a cactus, but you don't have to sit on it. By J. Meyer. Now, if you'd like to stay more in a meditation today to close out, you are welcome to. Maybe you get some height to sit on. Otherwise, let your body start to come down onto the back. And to make yourself comfortable, extending the legs out. Turn your palms up, back of the hands into the earth. And if you have any props that you want to use, by all means. Now as you come into this space, there will be a tendency and a pattern for the mind to think. And what we get to practice is returning a thinking mind back to the present moment, back to your breath. It's the easiest for most of us. We need not be frustrated that the mind is thinking. Just use the thinking as training to teach your mind to go back to the present moment. Ask yourself if your mind is really getting on a tangent. Am I open to releasing? And if the mind says no, just bring it to the breath. Let it keep thinking, but you just keep bringing it back to breathing. your head gently start to rock a little bit side to side. Allow your toes, maybe point and flex the feet, or kind of spread the toes and let them curl in. Open and close your hands slightly. And stretch the arms, yogis, up and over our head. Take a big full body stretch. Now it is evening. If you like to roll, if you're practicing in the morning, go ahead, roll to the right. But if it's the evening that you're practicing and you want to kind of wind down a little bit, feel free to roll to the left. Take your time as you bring your body back upright to an easy seat. Bringing your palms in towards your heart space. As we step off our mat today, may we remember that at any moment we have the potential to make a shift, to pause, to take 6 deep breaths or even 3. And at the close of that 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th breath, noticing if there's been a shift within yourself. Maybe asking, how could I see this differently? Don't put your energy on the isness, like what already is. And you know in your heart what is. But be careful here, right? It's a slippery slope. Red lights, those are the is. But there are things that we confuse for being just so. We think it's so permanent. And it's not. And it just takes a shift, and that shift starts within our own selves. As you bring thumbs up to third eye, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for practicing tonight. Thank you for your flexibility. I think we made it all the way through. I checked a few times. Namaste. Don't sit on any cactuses, okay? Just don't do it. Catch yourself, right? That's the first step. Sitting on a cactus. That's why when you say to yourself, I'm sitting on a cactus, when you have those moments, and it'll just make you smile. And the minute you start smiling, that too starts to shift your nervous system. So, Wednesday, so now all of July, 10 a.m. 10 a.m. I feel like Elf Santa's coming, 10 a.m. 10 a.m. Mondays are Vinyasa Flow or Power, whatever I decide to dazzle in there. And then Wednesday's the healing. If you're like, I love yoga, I would like it to be shorter sometimes. I am doing a 15-day, starting July 6th, a 15-day smoothie. I'm going to provide 15 smoothie recipes with 15 minutes of yoga. A friend of mine and I are doing it. They're 15 minutes, so we'll do shoulders and hips and all different things. And if you're interested in that, message me or just comment below and I'll send you more information. So 15 days, 15 smoothies, 15 minutes of yoga every day. So that can be an option as well. So I hope you all have an amazing week. Happy 4th if I don't see you or talk to you, or, not that I really talk, but on Facebook. Before then, be safe, and I will see you next time. Namaste, yogis.